It is my opinion that our best and brightest should be working to help the next generation. So that's why I'm here, because sorry to say, over myself, Marcus has my vote as the best all-around coach in the world. So, skills. We've gotten students fit in schools before. I'm now coaching students in school. And what I see is it's not just about making them fit, it's about teaching them skill they're gonna use for life. So we're trying to bring you our best possible effort, live seminar style, giving you something any parent or gym coach could use, or really just anyone of any age. So start taking me through.
Well, you're here because you don't have a lot of experience with kettlebells. I've got a good amount of experience. I am by no means the world expert in kettlebell training, but when it comes to fundamentals, specifically like the kettlebell swing, the kettlebell clean, and the kettlebell press, I have a lot of experience training thousands of people doing it, and it's a tool that I've used for years for myself, and it's been a great complement to all the other things that we've done in training. But after discussion, it's clear that if we can learn these fundamentals at an early age with the kettlebell, it has great transference to being able to do fitness in any environment, whether it's a gym or if it's in an athletic setting down the road. So we're gonna teach Ben how to do a kettlebell swing, and we're gonna take our time, because when you learn it right, you get to really leverage the tool the best for a long time to come.
Nice.
And kettlebells are more and more commonly showing up in lots of different gyms. And if there's a tool that I see used improperly most frequently, it might be the kettlebell. And there's really not too many fundamentals to teach. We're gonna cover them today with pretty good detail so that you can mimic exactly what we're doing here and have cues that you can give your athletes, your kids, your students when they're trying to learn these things, so that they can actually understand, this is how I move properly, and I'm using these cues for a long time to come.
Amazing. All right.
So
get me into it.
Probably best, let me just demonstrate what a good swing looks like.
Yep.
And so, kettlebell swings are a hip hinging exercise. And that's probably the first thing that we're going to discuss today, is that we've placed it first on our list of 8 skills that we want you to have as the hinge, the posterior chain exercise. And the first mistake that most people make when they kettlebell swing is they try and learn how to squat. So before you even pick it up, you're obviously a good mover, but you're going to stand with about a shoulder width shoulder width apart stance.
Okay.
And with your hands, you're going to place them out in front of you like you're holding the bell at the top of the swing. The bell is going to fall down as you push your butt back into a hip hinge. And the first cue, wrists to the inside of your thighs. All right? And then stand back up. So
wrists to the inside of the thighs.
Correct. So that's the first physical cue that really helps, is I need to know that I need to make contact with this inside of my wrist, right at the top of my thighs. One thing we say when people are swinging is you want to pull that kettlebell towards your crotch. If you pull it down towards your knees, your mechanics are going to fall apart just from that one simple cue. And I've coached thousands of people where just telling them to do that one thing makes a world of difference.
That makes sense. It starts shifting you in the right direction.
Correct. Yeah.
Hinge.
Yep. Now, second is come stand right here, profile so turn 90 degrees this way.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, all the way to the camera right there. So do that same mechanic. When you're in this bottom position of a kettlebell, super important to see that his knee is right over his ankle. That is evidence that this shin is vertical and that all of the load is getting placed onto his butt and his hamstrings. That's where we want to load up. Now shift into more of a squat position, since you know what that looks like, chest up. So stop there. If this is the bottom of your kettlebell swing, you're going to be loading up a lot of quads. These muscles on the backside are going to be quiet. And when you're hinging with no tension in your hamstrings and your glutes, that's where people run into low back issues with the kettlebell. So he's going to always keep his knees back, and you're going to think, knees do not go forward. So stand up and then just kind of relax for a second. I'm going to show this with the swing from the side. if you put your hand right in front of my knee when I'm standing at the top, my knee never comes forward. So you can even put your hand in front of my knee.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm keeping my knee behind your hand throughout the swing. Okay,
Yep.
so those are going to be the two things that we focus on first. So now it's time to load up. And the initial pull off of the ground is often as important as all these other positions that we talked about. So set the kettlebell up about 6 inches in front of your foot.
Okay.
Send your hips back. What's going to happen is the moment you lift it off the ground, it's going to swing in towards you because you've created that distance. So we're going to swing we're going to swing right up to our crotch and out, and then place it back down. So it's going to look like this: up, down, to the floor. It's like a hike swing, like you're hiking a football, and back down. So
yeah, when I pick it up, it falls back towards me.
So do that again. Yep, and then back to the ground. So hike again, and back up. Good. Hike again. Great. And pause. So mechanics right there are looking good. The next step is learning that this is a violent mechanical movement, right? You are not controlling this. It's not tempo and slow. In order to actually do it well with good safety and get the benefit out of it, you have to extend your hips violently. So you're actually going to, the cue is, right, I talked about bringing the wrist to the upper part of the thighs. You're actually going to try and attack yourself, like pull that thing in aggressively. When you pull in aggressively, you get good stretch, which is then going to turn into the same action on the way up.
Oh yeah, I see that.
So you pull it down,
and then it.
Yep. Good.
Yep.
And back down. So far we've got knees back, wrist to the top of your thighs, pulling it in aggressively, and then we're going to finish it with the last piece, which is you have to stand up aggressively. It is like you're going for a maximum jump. It is squeeze your glutes, stand up high, and then the bell follows.
So glutes will be squeezed at the top.
Completely squeezed, tight, tall, and then right back to your crotch and right back up.
Nice. So we're here, violent, and then.
Yeah, violent on the way up too.
Yeah,
there
I see that that glute squeeze.
Yep.
There.
Perfect.
That's really nice. So it's almost like, from my background, it's almost a foundation of barbell RDL and also on back extension, how you get some tension at the top.
Yes.
It's foundational to all of that.
Yeah. So quick review. I'm going to stand up here, 6 inches in front of me. I'm going to pull it in, right? I set up with my knees back, my butt out, pull it into my hips, up, up, up.
Nice.
And you'll very commonly hear good kettlebell like athletes, people who really swing well and know mechanics. It's breathing. It's,
oh yeah, how's that? How? Like that, breathing on the. Okay, this is awesome. For someone to understand the why. So I'm coaching about 100 high school students. These kids ain't working on a farm. They're not naturally getting the low back and grip and upper back that you would get from doing farm work and stuff.
yeah, throwing hay bales.
Yeah, and then training 30 students at a time. I don't have enough barbells. I don't have enough back extension machines. So there's many valid ways to get these effects, but let's kind of break that down. So I'm getting foundational hamstring, glute, lower back.
Yep.
Even some
Grip.
Some upper back and grip is going on.
Yeah, upper back and grip. And you'll find that if you're doing sets of 20, 10, 20, even up to 30 swings, that you get a ton of grip strength and a ton of upper back. Like your shoulders and the rotator cuff will feel sore from getting work, even isometric work.
Beautiful.
Yep. Now, one thing I'll point out is that you're somebody who is you're a well-rounded athlete from front to back, but you also bias a lot of squats, and you have for a long time. If there was one thing that I was seeing in your swings, is that you do have a tendency to push the knees forward. So that cue, that reminder of,
so
I'm going to put this here. Don't let your knee touch my hand. You can just feel how that's making you fall back onto your heels more, and it's just getting you to work.
Yeah, that's really nice, because this ability to put load on the back but handle the load well.
Yes.
That's so foundational for not having then these just wreckage of billions of dollars of back problems. Like it starts with your ability to use your back. So this is a foundational, if I wanted to do something in life, not to mention I'm building up muscle tissue. This is beautiful.
If you saw that and you were like, oh my gosh, that looks so vulnerable to my back, let me put your worries at ease, because when you combine the first physical cue I gave, which is keeping the kettlebell right here at the top of your thighs, the weight is all around your center of mass. So you're not getting load on your back here. You're getting load on your hamstrings and your glutes. And I can do this and I'll do it with a light weight just so that I stay safe. If I perform that very hinged position, but I swing with the kettlebell down by my knees, that's where people run into issues, and they say, oh, I tweaked the back doing kettlebell. Not. If you keep the bell at the top and you keep the knees back. If you do both of those, you will be very safe, and you'll feel a ton of the right areas and none of the wrong areas.
Yeah, and I've seen, because I've answered thousands upon thousands of questions and seen feedback, and I've seen people say, kettlebell swings fix my back pain. I've also seen people say, deadlifts fix my back pain. RDLs fix my back pain. Seated good morning, seated deadlifts fix my back pain. Back extensions fix my back pain.
Yeah.
Jefferson curls fix my... If you really look into the research, you see that bringing up ability shows across the boards to help people with back pain. So the idea would be, how do we get ability to go up without extreme demands in those early phases? Like you and I now, we could go like that and we don't have to worry if we're gonna get hurt, but we have a foundation there of tissue. And if the glute and hamstring is weak, and now we're trying to use the back. So yeah, it's actually great news that in the mystery of the lower back, general ability improvement works.
Totally.
That's awesome.
So we've got the fundamental swing down. That's something that can probably take somebody who's not an exceptional mover like yourself to, you need something over there?
No, I was looking to see what the heaviest ones were, to see if my form breaks, or kind of to talk about the weight, because people are going to want to know.
Let's get the red, the 32 kilo.
Right, like what's for a general high school student.
This is 2 times the weight of that, and we have kettlebells at
this is 64 plus 6 points, so like a little over 70 pounds.
70, 71 pounds. We have ones that go up to 175 pounds here, right? And even today, after learning these fundamental mechanics, executing that with a 200-pound kettlebell, you can stay incredibly safe.
Yeah.
So try that same thing.
Yeah, we're talking about foundations that can actually improve whatever other fitness you want to add to this.
Yep.
Okay, so I had it out. That way it swings toward, and then violent towards the groin.
Violent up.
This feels really good. I'm actually like, it's challenging my balance a little bit, but then as you get it, it's really unique in how you've got a workout at the bottom and the top. You got nice tension throughout. That's awesome. Yeah,
that's exceptional technique and for your first day really swinging. And
then
nothing broke apart between that and this, because you followed this cue of bring the hands to the top of your thighs and keep your knees back. That immediately makes you tight in all the right areas so that you can explode up. And again, one more thought is, yes, you want to bring the bell back to the right spot, but the violence happens here, and this is more of a guide into the right position.
So
there you go. Good.
Wow, this is going to make it so much easier to teach the RDL by using this as a foundation. Yep. Someone could use just that and have good general flexibility. And then when you want to now learn, because it can be really hard to teach people how to deadlift without their back rounding, but with that, you'll just flow right into it with all those extra benefits of different things in the upper back.
So I'll just add in, as you're teaching somebody who's new to this, we were able to go very quickly through the progression, but that hike swing is something to drill more and more. So if you have a class of 30, everyone's got a kettlebell, you teach them these mechanics, you go through it with just their hands to show them, and then it's hike and back down. Hike and back down. And I wouldn't even work on linking together swings until you've done days,
That makes sense.
possibly even weeks of doing hike swings.
Now was it here and then down and then there and then down?
Yep.
Okay. This is actually a really nice flexibility exercise. Flexibility, strength. And then you're learning, like you get this right, you can really use that backside without as much risk injury on the lower back.
Exactly.
So, because people want a starting protocol, programming we probably both view as an art.
Yeah.
There's not one set or rep that's better, just like you wouldn't say that if you had a great restaurant you like that you only go to that restaurant. Programming can mix it up. But to give people a starting, how many sets and reps? For every step, let's just give people a starting.
I mean, the old 3 sets of 10 is still very workable.
That would be,
three
especially
sets of 10 hike swings.
Yeah, especially if you're doing that each time. Like that's one. Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And once you've done that, maybe 2 sessions in a row with good consistency, good mechanics, then it's learning to do hike swing into 1, 2, 3, rest.
Nice.
Right? You're just adding on reps on top of what we've already established. And soon enough, it's sets of 10 in a row, rest, recover, and build load on top of sets of 10. Because, yeah, you see people doing sets of 20, sets of 30 in swings, but look, there's ways to scale up in terms of load, and doing sets of 10 with a 32 kg kettlebell is going to build more strength in young athletes than they're probably needing for whatever activity they're doing. And it's a simple step-by-step progression to that.
Okay, amazing job on this section. Can I use this with huge groups of students? Yes. Can they then use that? Like if I just worked on that, taking that basic and getting as good as I could at that basic, could I do that the rest of my life? Age 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and have better than normal posterior chain? Absolutely.
Definitely.
That's what we're looking for here. Skill, boom, beautiful. I'm sure more tips will come back around as we get weights into position on different things, but I think you did a good job there and we can start to move into squatting.
Definitely, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I will intro squatting the way I've been teaching, really the way the students have taught me from just going back and forth with them. Here's exactly how I teach them, but then you're gonna see Marcus is gonna expand this a bit. So the slant increases difficulty on the legs relative to how much load is needed. So I can take kids with just body weight and try to master this pain-free. Then I have them get a kettlebell into position. So let's say this was like the 70-pound kettlebell. So then I'll have them trying to get strong enough in that upper back to the point where they're holding weight and getting the legs even stronger. But they might hit a point where they're going, Coach, my legs now are so strong that I can't challenge my legs with the kettlebell. Marcus will show more advanced versions, but I'll show what is even helping high schoolers dunk basketballs and stuff. Now you start to rebuild that one side at a time, but actually trying to control. So most people, when they do a pistol squat, they'll bounce out of the bottom, control down, pause, be trying to work on your posture, explode up. You start to build that one side at a time, actually controlling all the way down, no bounce out of the bottom, explode up. You can build, like, will I maintain the ability to dunk for a long time off just what I showed you? Body weight, kettlebell, single leg, absolutely.
Realistically, with your young athletes, to go from just getting body weight, going up through a weighted progression, and then getting to single leg, like for people who are watching this, like how many weeks, months does it take?
For the natural freak athletes, 0.
Yeah.
The natural freak athletes can drop right down, single leg. Their body's very easy for them to lift. For someone weaker, maybe that would take years. But awesome, you've got something now. One of my best buddies is 48, and he's regained the ability to dunk. And this has given him an awesome progression to use. So I would say the single leg, think of as optional for extreme demands. Look, if you're like, female soccer has the most knee surgeries of any sport. So if you're gonna say, okay, I'm going in here and I have the highest chance of knee surgery, you might wanna build some extra ability.
Yeah.
And we'll cover different ways for the knee, but starting from the backside and the knee, I would be going for more. If you're gonna say, hey, I'm going into the most dangerous neighborhood possible, hey, might be helpful to know some martial arts, to have some extra ability.
Yeah.
So,
so you brought up the obstacle of like, okay, now I'm doing these and I'm trying to weight them with something like a 32, kilo kettlebell. This is a great way to just sort of come back to the swing and understand, because just there, you picked up the kettlebell like this. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, there's a better way. Now you know how to swing. And so to take the swing mechanics that we learn and instill this into your athletes when they're picking up weights, it is swing to here. That is so much smoother, and it's gonna allow some of those athletes that don't have the strength to pick that weight up right away.
Oh yeah,
that's super simple.
Yeah, so it's here, went through the same things. I'm also getting that nice, like that nice work again for the backside. Okay, that's definitely getting somewhere. Nice.
Okay, so then let's break those mechanics down a little bit, because there's two ways. There's the swing into a goblet, and then there's also the swing into a rack position. We're gonna get to that one second, but when we swing and we take anything up to the shoulders, there's one thing that's different. When I swing, the force is going out. When I swing up to the rack position or up to my chest, everything has to stay close to my body. So you imagine if I had a wall in front of me, I do this swing, and I wanna make sure I do not hit that object in front of me. So it's keeping it, so do that again, and do it with the same violence, but just
it's gonna
bring the wrists and the elbows up.
Oh yeah, that was much easier.
Much easier.
And now to show people though, like simply holding that top position here, you're getting awesome grip and upper back benefits. So again, for my students who didn't grow up working on a farm, they're getting awesome extra benefits to protect the elbow, to protect the upper back.
Did you hear about the Rice Krispie Treat viral pre-workout meal? People were going and buying Rice Krispie Treats off the shelves, eating them before their training, and getting epic pumps. Here's the science. Rice Krispie Treats have sugar in them, and they have sodium in them. And those two things can definitely improve your performance when you're in the gym. But if you want to get those same results with cleaner ingredients that are backed by science, here you go. Start with a piece of fruit and maybe add some honey, and that's going to give you the sugars that you need to get through your training. Instead of just adding some random amount of salt, go with a science-backed electrolyte formulation from Element, which has got sodium, potassium, and magnesium that are going to support hydration and performance throughout your training. I like to mix a banana with a serving of Element raspberry salt. Together, I'm going to get an epic pump. I'm going to stay focused, and my performance is going to drive me all the way through to the end of my training session.
This will hit a point though, where the grip in the upper back will probably limit how much you can load the legs.
And so to address that, we have to learn proper kettlebell rack position, because there's going to be a limit to how much you can hold here, which is not as much as you can hold in a kettlebell rack position. So actually, let me show that with two of these yellows.
This way people know this is going to allow.
That's 70 pounds holding it like this. This is 70 pounds holding it like this.
If we had to go to tap out.
Yeah, it's like,
if you had a twin brother.
Who's going to hold it longest? I'm going to win 10 days out of the week, all 10 days,
like,
right?
You feeling anything? Like, look at my,
good.
Okay, hold on. My arms are actually shaking. So but you can see both sides of it. One, this is really good. It's foundationally what I'm doing, but it's going to limit my leg development at a certain point.
Yeah. So we have to learn this. So take yours, and I'm going to walk you through proper kettlebell rack mechanics, which is most people butcher the swing by not following those simple cues we gave you. Many people butcher the rack position because they've never been taught how it's supposed to feel against their body. So pick up the kettlebell and just put it on your shoulder, like mimic the best way I just showed you.
Yeah.
Okay, so face them so they could see this, but do that again. All right, couple key things. First, where is his elbow pointed right now? It's pointed away from his body.
Yeah, this is my instinct right here.
We want the the elbow to point down. Okay, the other thing is his wrist is extended. I want him to flex it slightly. So now he's got a stronger position there, his elbow's down, and then the last is I'm gonna take his forearm and I wanna press it against your chest. That is a good kettlebell rack position, and that covers the 3 most important things. Elbows down, forearm connected to your body, and wrist flex.
Here's what I feel. Much easier on the shoulder, but I'm in a good way, I'm hitting some new upper back muscle.
Yeah.
Like there's one of the modern weak points is like kind of between those shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Different. So this is cool that it's adding versus here just challenging the shoulder.
This is very disconnected from the shoulder. This is hinging on wrist, elbow, and just like AC joint or right up in here. So what we want is...
cocked and this is definitely new for me, just working on that. But this much tighter and stronger, so I could hold more weight here on a squat. But there is still some nice upper back benefits going on.
Yeah. So
but my arm, like on the first one you saw, it was like my biceps were
just
shaking.
Absolutely shaking.
Whereas this one, the arm is not going to be the limiting factor on the leg.
Right, which is what we're after, and which is why most people will say kettlebells are inferior to barbell squatting, because you run out of the ability to hold. Well, if you learn proper rack positions and proper mechanics to get them up, you can extend the progression with kettlebells before ever having to pick up a barbell.
Yeah.
So we have to now connect the swing to the rack position, and that is technically called a clean, and it is not that difficult to learn once you have these two, the end point in place and the beginning mechanics in place. You take one arm right to your hips.
I see.
And roll it into the rack position.
That was much easier.
Yeah. Do it again.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get into that same
and come in front
kettlebell
of this,
swing.
Come this way a little bit.
So getting into that same kettlebell, but then, super easy. Flows right in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
When I was trying this at home. Okay.
Good. Don't take it back to the ground like a hike.
And then, hold on. So when it's here, kind of getting like that.
How do you get it back down?
Like dropping kind of into that.
So we could do the same
swing.
if we both face this way for a second. Let's do hike cleans. So it's here, hike, and then back down through that middle point to the floor.
Yeah. I mean, you can see it's my brain's having to process everything, but it makes sense and it's getting up. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're a great visual learner. So if you watch this, I'll do a hike swing.
Oh, wow. This is going to be good for the, wow. My left side was like dumb on that. There, up, there it is. Trot, oh, wow. See how my left side is actually struggling more than the right to figure it out.
Yeah, but you're right hand dominant.
But I'm saying that's a good.
Cool. Yeah, it's a good thing.
These are good things for overall health and resilience in sports.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you're going to learn a powerlifting squat or an Olympic lift or something, all this is foundational stuff. Regardless of, like for basketball, this would help me with handle contact.
For sure. So the drill that you can practice is the hike clean. When you go back down, I'm going to send it out so that it comes right into that same swing pattern. Send it out, back into my hip, and back up, back out into my hip, and down.
So you sent it out so it goes back and then...
Yep.
Okay. I will say this much. With the techniques, this thing feels like... So this is 35 pounds.
Yeah.
It feels like 8 pounds.
Yeah.
Meaning when you're doing it like the wrong way, it feels heavy. And then when you're actually getting it, like it feels like it's empty or something.
Yeah,
so
which is why somebody says, I can't squat enough with kettlebells. It's like, well, you just haven't learned how to get the weight into the right position effectively.
And I mean, if someone really wanted to, then you can
load that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you take a sport athlete, it's good to have skills, because for me as a basketball player, when I play, I'm playing to win. I'm playing like Michael Jordan. I'm never going to cheat the rules, but like I'm giving everything I've got. So when I finish playing, the idea of getting under a barbell, I'm just like,
no thanks.
Just like crushes my testosterone. Like I feel like I don't want to lift. But you know what I'll do right after playing? I'll hop on this guy and work those fundamentals right after playing.
Yeah.
So I'm saving myself so much time in my regimen while building my tissues. And so this is cool that I could really challenge my body relative to the amount of extra energy and equipment and stuff I need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so that got us through these two.
Show us the double though.
Double.
Yeah.
So the double is no different than what we just did with the single. You just have to take a slightly wider stance, but same mechanics. So to get those 70 pounds into my rack position, it's the same feeling. I just have to take a slightly wider stance, get the kettlebells into position, get up on my slant, and I'm starting to squat.
Nice.
You can try that?
Yeah, I'll do that one time. So here. Oh, that was really easy. And then, okay, that was much easier than I thought. Nice.
Good.
I will show before we go on from the squat, we are here in California, which is known for not being the lowest prices. This was still under $3. So just to give someone some clarity, you could have 3 students at a time still getting some heel elevation on squats.
Yeah.
Nor do you have to elevate the heels, but it's gonna be unrealistic for a bunch of kids to get into a deep squat and have it feel good, because they weren't just in class like this.
No.
So the ankle mobility of modern students is gonna be less than what it naturally would be if they were in there. If they were just like in class, sitting around in these kind of positions, they would have very different mobility than when they're sitting in the chair.
Definitely.
So some sort of heel elevation, most students will feel actually a better balance on a squat. And then this just adds, because I come from, look, knee surgery in high school kind of messed my life up. I was extremely depressed, couldn't figure out my knees, and was always told, no knees over toes, no elevating the heels on squats. I believed this stuff firmly. Then find out, oh wait, I can actually emphasize and build my knees. So these are just tools of heel elevation. I stack up 10 of these. Like I put them this way, and then I put them on top of each other like this. So for the students, I have 10 slants stored like that.
Oh yeah.
And then we bring them all out. But coaches, head to Home Depot. In your local currency, probably less than a cup of coffee. In California, this is about 1/3 of the price of a cup of coffee per going rates.
And just as a reminder, we just covered cleans, which are a slightly advanced movement. It's well worth your time to learn how to do it correctly. But even if you're just having them hold goblets, right, in this position, using the mechanics that we talked about, that simple swing to a goblet position is going to allow them to get into this loaded position more safely and pick stuff heavier off the ground that's going to challenge their legs when they do these types of squats.
Yep.
Cool.
Boom. Beautiful foundation. We got strong legs, we got capable backs. We know how to use this stuff off 2 movements that look, I'm sweating and we haven't left a small area.
That's real.
This is real constraints of training students. Now, boom, I've got skills for life right there. If we ended the video, this would be worth it, but let's keep going.
We've got more. Yeah. So this is kind of what we did a session 3-4 years ago where you came here. I put you up on the rings, rolled the clip of that. I think I almost got Ben to throw up in the gym from just using the rings and
the slant.
And the slant.
We only used rings and slant.
Yeah.
So hey, if you got a problem with the equipment, just go to woodshop class. You got. But I'll show you my system, because then you can probably dial in the form. So I make kids, like I would even lower these down a bit, and I encourage them, like, use your legs. I don't care if they're like this. Like, just get used to then feeling your tension. Yeah. So even the most out of shape kid in the whole school can start here and be feeling that tension. And at some point, they're gonna slow it down a little bit on the way down. And if you get slow enough on the way down, recover, then you'll eventually get to a pull up.
Yeah. Why don't we pull the camera here, because we've got these rings really low.
Oh,
I think it's worth showing. Like,
yeah.
Look, they're just at head height, and I'm already starting at a 90-degree bend, and I can jump. control myself down, jump, try and control myself, jump, hold, control myself down.
Yep. You get, particularly females I coach, they see pull-up on the board and they are terrified. And they think that they're gonna have to go string a band, potentially snap. So that's its own skill.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out, so this is all positive skills. But for them, like, who says you can't go like this? So it'll literally go from something like this to then feeling some of that tension. And they can even finish out. I tell them, when you're done, you can just go like that. Yeah, so that's my system is using the legs until you can fight it, down until you can go up. And this is also really nice for the wrists and the elbows because you have the freedom of motion.
Yeah.
You can get a pair of rings I sell mine for $40.
Yeah.
So this is the winner. And then to finish out the pulling system, I use here, I actually use a face pull for throwers.
Okay.
And then for all students, we get into a row. So I'm just having them pull horizontally instead of vertically. And then when I run the faculty class and the 85-year-old walks in, she's going like this and going, wow, I feel my upper back muscles working.
Yeah.
So there, that's my system right there. It's awesome.
Yeah, so you get pulling both vertically, horizontally.
And to show that clearly, the farther you stand back,
the easier it is.
Yeah.
Which then brings us to, now we've pulled, we've gotten these muscles, Now what about the muscles that push away from us? So you've got your horizontal pushing system.
Yeah.
Super simple. And this tool, you can find these very inexpensive.
Level 1.
And you can even construct
Level
these
2.
out of PVC pipe for probably twice what it costs to buy a piece of lumber.
Yep. So to be clear, I'm having them control through their range of motion that feels good. So here I'm still tight. I feel good. I'm not like, ah.
Yeah.
So this is the range that feels good for me. That's going to give a good foundation there.
Yeah. So keep it simple with knees, a range of motion that you can feel tension. Maybe you can go a little lower. And then you said go up to your toes, control it on the way down, press up with your knees, and then moving to full pushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do there. Marcus probably has more advanced pressing videos.
Sure.
Again, my goal with all this stuff is to put in skills for life.
Yeah.
I can use that till the day I die.
Totally. And even with this, and let's just imagine for a second I've got a little box behind me. Just putting yourself up on something that's elevated is going to make it harder. Feet up a little higher, even harder, right?
And it's
Do
worth
set to 20 with that, with control.
You could just throw in some insights because with rings, you can also push up and then even so here with the ring. So with your same rings, if someone wanted to get more advanced, you can get some pretty advanced pressing strength.
Yeah.
With the ring.
Yeah, but even just doing
this is as far as I coach.
Exactly. This advanced position, being able to do 20, 30 of those, that's going to give these athletes the upper body.
And we've got benches
pushing.
and boxes, so you can elevate there. Totally accessible.
But what that doesn't touch is the ability to press overhead.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to bring the kettlebell back in.
The best shoulder health I've seen in people is they've got a good ability to go this way and a good ability to go this way, both the pulling and the pushing. So we already covered with the ring, we covered vertical pulling, horizontal pulling. I threw in a bonus of the face pull because if an athlete is overdoing that throwing, like if you want a shoulder surgery, become a thrower.
Yeah.
You want to increase your chances of it. You want a knee surgery, get into soccer or basketball. Okay, what's happening? The demand has increased. So improve your ability to handle that demand.
Yeah. And then for pressing, one thing that early on I really admired about the way that you were coaching resistance training was it's all about range of motion. It's about getting stretch, and it's taking these joints to their limits, their abilities safely and pain-free. Now, the kettlebell press has always been one of my favorites for my own shoulders because I've had shoulder issues in the past from my years of doing CrossFit. When I've seen you coach dumbbell pressing, it is about how do I get that deep range of motion? Well, what's unique about the kettlebell press is if you look at the starting position of my hand, the load is actually below my shoulder and it's in front of my chest. So in order to press from here up, I'm getting a very big range of motion and I'm getting a slight rotation from neutral to overhead. And that, to me, is superior to dumbbells, because dumbbells are gonna run into your shoulder. You're gonna have to work around that, but the kettlebell falls into this beautiful front rack position, which is a deeper range of motion on a press. So go ahead.
Well, and most people, the first pressing I learned was a machine that went from about here to here.
Yeah.
Or then barbell, which I'm like cheating to about there.
Yeah.
Or dumbbell, which similarly I would go to about here. So this is all fine. Like, I don't know about you, but I haven't found like human motions that I'm like, that's a bad human motion. No, it's all, if it's a natural human motion to you, great. But this is gonna be more foundational.
Yeah.
Than the end ranges of heavier loads. Actually, because now let's say you stay the same strength here, but you're now building here, here, here. I mean, it's just where people lack ability is where I see the most problems. The amount of guys I've known who are crazy strong, and they're going in for a shoulder surgery. I'm like, bro, you can't, like, there's more skill there that has not been commonly taught. So let's see. So I was here.
Yeah, good clean into the right position.
Yep, still learning that. Okay, so now here.
Now, again, forearm to chest.
Yep, I'm pulling
so you're
there.
That full range, and then you're pressing from there.
And then, oh, that was very smooth.
It's really smooth. The counterbalance of the weight on the back of your forearm while you press.
Now coming down, anything to think about there? I mean, even this is a nice position because you have a lot of stability going on too.
Yeah. So
it's gonna take me some time, but feels better than I thought.
Actually, one hidden benefit of pressing with kettlebells, when we press overhead, pressing should happen from the shoulder, not directly overhead from shoulder straight up, which puts a lot of strain on the tricep and the elbow. So when you press with a kettlebell, because of the weight on the back of your forearm, if I go straight down, it's pulling me back.
Yeah.
To center this over my shoulder, my elbow has to break in front of me, which is actually good pressing mechanics. It's really strong and safe on the shoulder. And you feel that when the weight is against your wrist. That's great.
It's definitely, I forgot coming out of it. But yeah, a lot of good stuff is going on. I realized we can throw this into the description or whatever. If we had to throw, we said 3 sets of 10 here on the swing. I would stay with the same 3 sets of 10 on the squat. Mm-hmm. Focus on really good form. I think you can also go 10 reps on the rings.
Yep.
And then the push-up bars though, I think you can go to a good burnout. So maybe I like to have, it could really vary by student. So I would just say go to a good burnout here. Now, what would you say getting into here?
I don't think it changes much. I think in order to establish these foundations, 3 sets of 10 is great. Once you start getting stronger and you want to pick up a heavier kettlebell and press for sets of 5, for sets of 6, that is fantastic as well. And then one more thing I saw when we're pressing, one of the things you really want to be mindful of is that you're working so hard in your shoulder and your tricep, it's really common for people to break at the wrist. And that wrist position, one of the most common things you hear is when people are doing kettlebell work in the rack and overhead, they say, man, it really hurts my forearm. The bell is just bruising me. And that usually comes from when you extend your wrist. This is now flaccid. It's not tensed. Here it becomes more tensed, all right? And when you get if it's just relaxed and bent and soft, that's gonna press down harder and it's gonna be uncomfortable. So making sure that you stay in that really strong, straight, flexed wrist position while you're pressing, and making sure you always return back to this rack. The rack we spent time talking about it because this is where the bell starts and ends every rep. And when people are trying to press too much, they start doing this, and then it's really not as advantageous as bringing that bell back into this position where you're getting shoulder stability and you're getting increased range of motion.
Yeah, and it probably just from doing it, letting it recover, you probably get more used to these positions.
Yeah, and you're not gonna start with 35 pounds, you're gonna start with, the lighter bells.
Yeah, but from this, 35 felt surprisingly good from this position in here.
Yeah.
And I really like just how natural it is because the path to press, you press it overhead and it's you're not in like a fixed rigid path. So as a foundation, someone could still, I like to use the dumbbells and let it go to your natural position. Well, that's going to help that. That's going to help a barbell, whatever you add to it. So we're still in the foundational territory that it's not conflicting against any further lifts that you want to learn with dumbbell or barbell, and it's gonna help those. Awesome. Hamstring curl. I can show you my system really fast. Why am I including in here? I wouldn't say that this is as foundational as the other stuff we've shown. However, I'm coaching sports that have high chances of knee surgery, so we want to have extra ability. So a 4-step system that I use is you're with 2 legs, you're getting used to squeezing the glutes as you flex the hamstrings, and down, I would say get to where 10 of those is easy. Squeeze the glutes, flex the hamstrings. Now get used to actually controlling down on one leg. So that's gonna be helping resist that knee being pried apart. When you get into these ACL tear situations, it can be weakness on either side of the knee. So you're often there, like slowing down. So if you have a weak knee, you might not be able to handle the pressure and you'll kind of hyperextend there. And then if you're weak here, so combined ability there is gonna help. And then level 3 would be trying to get the glute to squeeze one leg. That's gonna be a really nice challenge, especially you're gonna find often differences between sides, particularly if someone's had a knee or a hamstring injury. And then level 4 being optional, we'll have Marcus try to hold my heels down here. And you've got the most recent 100-meter Olympic gold medalist does this exercise. Some of the best athletes in the world are resisting with those hamstrings with a partner, $0 of equipment. So I leave that as optional for the person that even single leg on the hamstring roller with good form. If that's not challenging them, they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they've got elite hamstrings already.
So there's a 4-step system that, with really simple tools, you can use. A lot of people make these. There's nothing special about mine. It's just the lowest price for American made. You can get them cheaper, not American made. So these are very affordable. And same thing, you can store 10 of these. So that's basically my leg system, 10 boards, 10 of these, 10 rings for the upper. And now we can start filling in the kettlebell. Look at these guys. We're doing pretty good. All right.
And now we have 2 finishers that really are gonna just leverage what we already have, just get more mileage out of the kettlebell. And you know, we worked on, now the kettlebell swing is very comprehensive. There's a lot of lower body moving parts, same with the squat. But one is really focused on posterior chain, one's more focused on leg and quad development. We obviously hit hamstring isolation, which is missing in so many strength programs for all levels of athletes, but particularly for young athletes. And now to put something in that's fun, that really incorporates everything and brings some jumping and some speed work into it, we found that like the kettlebell jump squat is the easiest thing that I can see to teach with very low risk. And all it requires is kettlebell between the legs, getting into a jumping position.
This is awesome. You're now
performing those in sets of 5, sets of 10, sets of 15.
Yeah, so this is really cool because you're now fully using everything in your legs, from your calf muscles to quads to posterior, firing it all.
And one thing I love about that is, like, how does it feel to catch yourself under more load and control yourself eccentrically into that? Yeah,
because we had different controlled positions, but if you watch the landing here for boom right there, this is actually a bit different.
Yeah.
And you have people who are, what's really cool about this video is, like, you have people who swear by Olympic lifting or different things. This is not conflicting.
No.
This is everything we're showing is gonna help an athlete regardless of your opinions thereafter.
And I've seen a lot of your content on on jumping. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of jumping up, but there's also jumping down and landing and jumping from tall things onto the ground. And this combines both, where you're exploding up, you're working on explosive strength and power, but you're also controlling your landing, which again, you don't have to jump off a box or jump onto a box in order to do this. You stay on a flat ground, and anybody can do this.
Box jump is another one that students get really terrified. I don't use it myself.
Yeah.
I use different.
But how many people are using box jumps and thinking that that's like the gold standard of jumping?
Yeah. Which, like, I enjoy box jumps now because I can jump well, but I think I still have like a permanent dent in my shin from being a high schooler thinking I have to do box jumps to jump higher.
Yeah.
Combined with that, no knees over toes.
Right.
So I was wrecking my knees and I couldn't handle landings. So I was really terrified of the box jump. So this
right here is going to teach you how to, these and this will get you ready to jump. And then this is a very safe and simple way to take the tools that you already have and get in jumping and control of landing.
This is amazing.
Yep.
I was going to throw, since this is seminar style, I was going to throw one more thing on the hamstring curl to understand. All right. Our high school girls soccer has the most knee surgeries of any activity you can do. They are the least likely to have the resources to have hamstring curl machines that cost thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So again, a silly short-sighted thing would be like, just use the ham curl. Well, the people who need knee stability the most, that their lives depend on it, they could go through a cycle of depression and painkillers because of a lack of ability here. And soccer's still gonna have injuries because it's so violent. But the point is, you can shift that in your favor with simple tools. So it's a sad thing that, yes, commercial gyms do have hamstring curl machines. You have how much do you think that Atlantis hamstring curl machine cost?
$4,500.
$4,500. I can put in a system for 100 students for less than that.
Yeah.
And I can then be getting hamstring curl strength for the people who need it most. So this is, if you go to a gym and you have a hamstring curl, fantastic. Don't buy a hamstring roller. You've got it. You've got it. So I just wanted to make that clear that it's not anti-hamstring curl machine. It's so pro-hamstring curl machine that I'm trying to get hamstring curls to the people who need it most yet are least likely to have it.
Yeah, and I'm still using a hamstring curl machine because this is super valuable and it's not something I want to overlook and neglect, and I happen to have access to it. But for people who don't, what we just outlined here is, like you said, not a huge investment, and you can get so many tools that can cover so many fundamental aspects of good strength and resilience.
This is awesome. Equally training the explosion and the landing. Love it. All right, finish us out here.
Yeah, so then training is as much about getting development in parts of your body to have more ability, but there's also wanting to have like the satisfaction of like doing hard grunt work. And carries with the kettlebell solve both. They solve building great shoulder stability and endurance, as well as grip strength and core strength, and
even ankles.
And ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're loading through as opposed to only flat-footed activities.
Yeah.
You do the, this will be with no technique. Marcus will help break down the technique, but you have athletes walk forward and then backward, and you're getting really foundational. Like I love seated calf machines. I can't get that for 100 students.
No.
So this, to be walking through the heel on the way forward, and then toes first on the way back. Look at this loading position for the toes right there. Not to mention I'm getting this grip work, this upper back work. I didn't do this foundational stuff. So for me, going into weightlifting in high school was like shin splints, knees were already wrecked. Then we're learning barbell squats and I'm out for weeks, did something to my neck because the bar had to go right on top of no muscle mass here.
Yeah. It's super simple. We've already learned all the things that we need to know for it. The kettlebell rack position and then just picking them up in a suitcase position. Those are really the only two that you need. There's plenty of other
Break it down
options.
for us more though. Is that, would you be going, so, all right, so, and these are the heavy ones. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I could do like a walk like this.
Precisely. Yeah, so a kettlebell rack carry.
Yeah.
And then a suitcase carry. And then
talk about this one. Why a suitcase carry?
I mean, a suitcase carry, because you can load up as heavy as you possibly can go. So if you really want to challenge the hips, the core, and the ankles, picking up 2 heavy kettlebells and walking with them is going to be your best chance at getting the heaviest load onto your frame in the safest way possible.
Yeah. For ankles, I would say this one, because you have the most total load.
Exactly.
But now the moment you drop one, you're getting into...
Yeah, you're getting into much more. So that was going to be my point, is that unilateral carries are superior to pretty much all exercises out there for getting rotational and trunk strength, core strength, and you can also double your output. So it's like telling a student to walk 50 meters with a kettlebell in one hand, they come back, switch arms, they go right into the next. They're getting 100 meters of carries without overloading and saying, hey, you have to carry both these kettlebells for 100 meters.
This is awesome.
And then fun things can happen once you start to learn those two. So one of the carries that I've done for years is the kettlebell rack offset carry. I think I coined it the Philly carry once upon a time, or somebody did. But the Philly carry is just start playing around with different positions. So you've got mixed here, you've got front rack carries, you've got suitcase carries. You can drop it down, do unilateral suitcase or unilateral front rack. And those 5 different variations are going to give you plenty to work with, especially if you're working forward and backward stepping in all those positions. So
amazing.
That could be like, for the, what's the prescription? It's single rack, down and walk back. Single rack, down and walk back. Double rack, down and walk back. And then do the same thing with the suitcase. That's 6 trips and it's done in a few minutes. You feel full body work, you feel exhausted, you feel sweaty, you feel accomplished, which again is, we want to finish on a high note where it's not technical. This is not a technical thing to do. These all require attention to technique, but these last 2, not super technical, put a lot of work in at the end. And that could be even how you mix in conditioning into your strength work is, you know, for an extra bonus, 7 and 8 become a superset where you say, okay, you're gonna jump, you're gonna do 20 jump squats or 15 jump squats, and then with that same kettlebell, put it in the rack, walk down and back, put it down, jump squats, put it back in the rack, walk down and back. You can create these opportunities for your athletes to stay super engaged, get a good
My grip is
sweat, and build strength at the same time.
Grip is going there. But there's a lot of research on the value of grip strength.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's so cool that you can be doing something that is in the rehab space almost for the ankles, yet cardiovascular, yet also building up your grip at the same time. And all with, I mean, this is crazy. This is my personal favorite system yet for young people. You're getting all these foundations 100% realistically. These are things you can actually afford to get or make and put together. And the only free loading we did was with kettlebells for this entire thing.
So I'm curious because 6 of these 8 or 5 of these 8, you've coached to hundreds of people, thousands of people over the years. Thinking about bringing the swing and some of these kettlebell implements in, where do you think it's going to be challenging, or what do you think it's going to present as an obstacle for you to teach a bunch of kids at the same time?
The opposite. This is solving the obstacles for me because I'm a huge fan of, am I still in frame here? Yeah. Huge fan of these machines.
Yeah.
For my dad, this was like the one thing that he could actually start to turn on these muscles.
Yeah.
So he got one of these from home, progressed to unassisted. And I have people actually learn how to be in a flex position and instead of just lifting with a rounded back, actually come out of a rounded back. So I go squeeze the glutes, flex the abs. That's my exact form. Down, come out of a rounded back position, squeeze the glutes, flex the abs. So this is, and then you can even get into the, boom, you can get into the stretch here. But you can see with 30 students at a time, all of a sudden back extension machine, forget about it. Hey parents, hey gym teachers, just get 10 back extension.
Yeah.
It's out of the question. But here,
instead you can swing.
Yes.
You can do carries.
Yes, exactly.
Like this, and that resolves an obstacle of having to have
Exactly.
30 of those in the gym.
Exactly. And I'm then for more elite hamstrings, I'm a big fan of deadlifting. So this would be like my main adult system would be, okay, I'm resisting my back rounding, resist, resist, resist. So this is my ability. If you can resist your back rounding really well, look how protected you are. You almost have a cushion down here.
Yeah.
So I can resist well. And then with this, I can train. And funny enough, my favorite loading on this is the kettlebell.
Yeah.
Because when you're here, it's so tight to you. Look at the range at the bottom. So I can get into a nice tight position, but then I'm still have it high, so I'm getting like glutes, flex the abs. I mean, you just have someone flex the glutes.
And now your upper back is working too because you're holding a kettlebell.
Yeah, so so the point is that I can even teach that Romanian deadlift with the kettlebell, the back extension with the kettlebell. So this actually solves my problems of like, how do I teach 30 kids a Romanian deadlift?
Yeah.
And as they're like, is this right? And I'm like, oh my God.
No, but once they have this in place, once they've done this several hundreds of times, that's going to feel easy. And, you know, doing it from this position too, versus like having to figure out how to load heavy with all that, it's just going to be like way smoother.
Exactly. So
I love that.
So this flows into my overall system of doing my best to give people skills for life. So students are taking what I'm teaching them and they're coming back, they're going, hey, I helped my mom get into that exercise. Wait. The American school system, students being a net positive.
Yeah.
Students helping their parents, students not finishing school, having to be handouts who are a net negative on society. Yeah. This is the main thing that we're all concerned about in schools. We want our kids to be able to go through school and survive well and have a positive contribution. And so fitness is that's my job. So that's what I'm working on. But that's my thought process for students. These students are going to go out and they're going to be so skilled that they have a net positive, that they're helping their own parents, they're helping other people. Not to mention, someone could take this stuff, students could go through this and they could easily then start a gym or be personal trainers with these foundations. You have this as a foundation.
Yeah.
You've now got exchangeable skill that people will pay you money for because you can teach people this stuff.
Well, and then just thinking about that, how students are learning how to train themselves. If you wait long enough, many of these athletes are going to just find their way into a gym and they're going to look around and see, hey, what are people doing? I've been into so many high school weight rooms where I see people doing stuff. They want to work hard, they want to get stronger, they want to be better at their sport, but then I watch how they're actually navigating, understanding these machines and these barbells and more complex pieces of equipment, and they're just not really doing it with good fundamentals. And if they had learned this at the right spot in their learning, in their development, then you take this, you've done this for a year, 2 years, and then you show up in the high school weight room and you are going to be the expert in the room saying like, no, that's not how you do that. Like, I learned how to do this and I have good mechanics. They're going to pick up a barbell like that. They're going to be able to do the more complicated, heavier, more athletic things down the road when they get into those strength programs with so much more ease.
Yep. Yeah. You're going to be then going, your uncle's going to say, I got a bad back. And I can actually teach you how to exercise.
Yeah.
This is priceless skill for quality of life. Now, to give someone the idea of just how simple this could be, at the lowest, I teach one exercise per day because they're kids who want to play dodgeball or this. So my PE system is you take 3 to 5 days a week and you let the kids take turns picking what sport they want to play. All right, what sport do you want to play? All right, today, what sport do you want to play? We'll have some fun, right? Okay, you want to play? I know you play some soccer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll play soccer for 30, 40 minutes, whatever. Have fun. And then today, after that, if you guys want, I'm going to be teaching the kettlebell swing. Every kid, yeah, I want to learn that. Because you're saying you're going to learn, and they're finishing that going, they're feeling pumped about it. They're not beat down from it. They're going, can I learn more? Can I learn more? All right, tomorrow we're going to do some pulling.
Yeah.
Okay, the next day we're going to do some squatting. Okay, the next day we're going to do some pushing. Then you go in like, oh, I forgot my keys. Let me go back in. Oh, you see kids are working on their pull-ups. They're working on their different stuff. So that's what I've seen is that I can teach just one exercise per day. Let kids be kids. They love it. They're self-determined about it. And then it also gives enough time that I can say, like, let's say we were just doing a carry, right? All right, today we're going to finish with carries. But instead of picking up 2, we're going to pick up 1. This is working muscles in here. Hey, let me show you an anatomy book of what the quadratus lumborum looks like. I've actually got the time to make some geniuses at fitness.
Yeah.
'Cause we got years. So people are going through years, they're like, oh, school, and then lap, you know, like, no, let them have fun. They're fired up, they're playing some sports, whatever, 1 exercise per day.
Yeah.
You also could be, hey, Saturday class here for kids, and you could try to teach all 8. I don't know. It's just, the point is that you don't have to teach all 8 at once.
Right.
And you could actually get insane results just teaching 1 per day. So you're on like a 2-week rotation or so.
Totally.
The kids will stack it up.
And once they've gotten through these and they've seen them a number of times, and that presidential fitness test actually comes back out,
Yeah.
these athletes are going to crush that, and they're going to be thinking like, is this even a thing?
Yes. And they're then, what are we trying to do in school? We're trying to learn things we can use the rest of our life.
Yeah.
This is all skills. Then they're going to stay fit the rest of their life. That's what it's about. Because we had the presidential fitness, and I have a ton of respect for it, but it didn't work because they didn't learn, what do I do now when I'm in my 30s having to feed kids and I've only got 10 minutes on my hands and I don't have an adult-sized monkey bar system and a rock wall to climb, and I'm at home. Oh, guess what? This system still works.
Totally.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, man. This was great.
It's
It's been a few years since we've seen each other, but
Yeah.
I love to just jump back into this with you, and I think the alignment and what we're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to accomplish is phenomenal.
Appreciate that. I'm going to be using this data for the next 10 plus years. So not many weeks will go by that I don't think about appreciation for this. And you'll have to come visit, take a family trip.
Oh, hell yeah.
Out to my barn dough.
Tennessee.
Show the kids where daddy learned it.
Yeah, right on.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know any comments. I only post like once, twice a week these days. So if you see someone answering, that's me in the comments. Fire them away. I'm going to answer. If there's 100 comments, I'm going to answer every single one. So
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.